the sky and fly. The lively little lamb got so wrapped up in her thoughts some nights, she was just about ready to jump right out of her fleece and go upstairs. Fleecy had so much energy that she stayed awake even when it was time to sleep. Fleecy's mother began to worry about her. It's not good for a little lamb to stay up so late. Her mother told her one night, "A growing lamb needs her sleep." "I'd like to dream and be awake at the same time, Mom," Fleecy said. Fleecy's mother had an idea. She knew Fleecy's fondness for the sky. "Look up to the sky," she said, "and count the stars you see. I'm sure you'll fall asleep soon." Fleecy gazed up at the bright stars in the night sky. She imagined she was she was high above the field, flying among them. In her dream, she sailed from star to brilliant star, tapping each one as she counted. 1, 2, 3. Fleecy counted. She only got to 3 before she slipped into sleep. Fleecy's mother was right. Fleecy slept so well that she had more energy the next day than ever the next day. "I flew higher than a butterfly in a dream last night," she told her friends as she chased them through the field. "I even touched the stars." That night, little Andy Ant couldn't wait to get to school the next day. He hoped it would be somebody else's birthday, and he wanted to learn how to count up to the real big numbers, like how many birthdays his classes would have. And made up a new outside game for his friends that day at recess. Listen, she had still needed to see Mr. and Mrs. Dragonfly brought in a baby Daisy for her shots. Teddy Termite had chickenpox, and Curtis Caterpillar had come down with the flu. I'll be with you as soon as I can, Dr. Butterfly told Billy. Right now I have a waiting room full of patients who need my help. I need your help too, said Billy. But his mother didn't hear him. She had already taken her next patient into her office and closed the door. Dr. Butterfly gave Daisy Dragonfly her shots. She gave Teddy Termite medicine to make him feel better. She took Curtis Caterpillar's temperature, gave him an aspirin, and told him to get plenty of sleep. Then Dr. Butterfly rushed over to Billy. Now what do you want to show me? She asked. It's my toy park, said Billy. But before Billy could say anything more, Nurse Nita hurried in the waiting room. Dr. Butterfly, come quick, she said. Sammy's spider fell from his web. I think he broke his leg. Dr. Butterfly hurried into the examining room to take an x-ray of Sammy's leg. It's broken all right, she said. Nurse Nita helped Dr. Butterfly put a cast on Sammy's leg. Then Nurse Nita helped Dr. Butterfly. Then Dr. Butterfly showed Sammy how to use his crutches. It will take some time, Dr. Butterfly told him, but your leg will heal just fine. You'll be spinning new webs all over town in no time. Nurse Nita and Dr. Butterfly waved goodbye as Sammy hobbled out the door on his crutches. Then she turned and glanced around the waiting room. Was Sammy the last patient? She asked Nurse Nita. Yeah, we have already taken care of everyone else. No, there's one more, said Billy as he held up his toy bug. One of the bug's seams had torn apart, open. His stuffing was starting to fall out. Mom, can you fix my toy bug like you fixed all the other bugs? He asked. She smiled. I can certainly try. Dr. Butterfly carried Billy's toy bug into the examining room. She took the bug's temperature and listened to its heart. She looked into its eyes and nose and throat with her little light. Then she put a bandage over the torn seam. Good as new, said Dr. Butterfly. Billy gave his mother a big hug. You take very good care of everyone in town, he said, especially me. Right. Baby Cough, illustrated by Erin Margiera, written by Catherine McCafferty, adapted by Sarah Toast. Crunch, crunch. Clover was a little calf. She lived with some other cows and calves on a farm. The farm had a big pasture with plenty of sweet green grass to eat. There was so much grassy land that all of the cows had their own eating spots. Clover's favorite place was the patch of grass by the big grey rock. The grass here is so good, she thought. It must be the sweetest grass in the whole world, the whole field. A little ground squirrel lived in the burrow under the grey rock. He didn't like the sound of a bell. It clanged whenever Clover strolled from tuft grass to another. The ground squirrel covered his ears, but it never helped. One day the ground squirrel thought of a plan. How do you know that the grass by the grey rock is the sweetest grass in the pasture? He asked Clover. I know that I like it very much, she said. Let me tell you a little secret, the ground squirrel whispered. I've heard that the grass on the hillside is really the best tasting grass of all. Clover looked at the hillside where the other calf Daisy was eating in the favourite spot. Daisy looked happy munching on some posies. closed her eyes and followed